fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, long ago, a harsh, arrogant man became king. He taxed the merchants, imprisoned the debtors, and oppressed the poor. Civil war broke out. And when they captured him, they beat him, they stripped him, and they left him in the desert to die. As he lay there dying, a merchant came by. And that merchant, knowing of the pain the king had wrought, he reached back and gave him a drink. Cool, refreshing water. A drink that the merchant didn't owe, and the king surely didn't deserve. And with that cool, refreshing drink, the king saw for the first time forgiveness. Years passed. The king regained his throne. One day a man stood before him, owing more debt than he possibly could pay. The king looked at him, and he recognized him. He said, "You, sir, what is your profession?" "Merchant," said the man. "And you pass outside this kingdom in the desert?" "Yes, sir," said the man. And the king leaned forward and said these words to the merchant. "The drink you gave years ago has returned to you this day. Your debts are forgiven. Go free." One day, you will be called on to forgive. And like the merchant, you will not owe it. And like the king, they surely will not deserve it. But I urge you, it's imperative that you forgive. Forgiveness is like that college buddy who eats all your food and then looks at you like, "You're my best friend." Forgiveness is that relative that moves in and never moves out. Forgiveness is when I come home when my dog Bruiser has torn up my furniture and I still pat him on the head. He had to apologize once. Forgiveness reminds me of the story of my father. See, my father grew up a broken-hearted man. When he was just a young boy, after a vicious fight with his mother, he ran away. But as kids do, he came back just a day later. And instead of walking into a warm, welcoming family, he stared down a grief-stricken father. His mother, the night before, had died of a stroke. And to make matters worse, his father, instead of embracing his young son, abandoned him. Fled to the golf course, fled to the bar, fled to a new marriage. With every year, every tear, every forgotten phone call, every missed holiday, the gap grew wider, the hurt deepened, and the bond broke. My dad didn't owe his father anything but to forgive. And I remember as a young boy, as he lamented the relationship, and I watched him as he picked up the phone, said to his dad, "Sir, I forgive you." With that, he handed him a cool, refreshing drink of water. A drink that my dad didn't owe. My grandfather didn't deserve. Forgiveness is like the rain. It fills up the clouds and comes down to the earth to cool and refresh it. But it doesn't stay there. It soon evaporates back up into the clouds to rain down again. The process is endless, as is forgiveness. For when you forgive, it always returns, oftentimes when you need it most. The story of my father continues. See, one day he ran into a challenge that he couldn't handle, and like his dad before him, he fled. And I was angry, and rightfully so. What did we do? We don't deserve this. I didn't owe my father anything. But I remember back to the years he spent with my grandpa, when he stored up for himself in the clouds of his own life cool, refreshing water. With that drink in my hand, I picked up the phone. I said, Dad, I forgive you. And with that, the relationship was restored. One day, you will be asked to forgive. You will not owe it. They will not deserve it. But I urge you, give that cool, refreshing drink of water to those who are in need. For your forgiveness today is likely